Hi everyone, here's your syllabus. This is your roadmap to everything we're going to do, every project, every lecture, the structure of the entire class. It's all laid out here. Nothing should be a surprise this semester. So, here's our course information. Here's my information. Best way to reach me is email. I answer my emails really quickly. I have 48 hours down here. If you have not heard from me in 48 hours, it means I haven't seen your email. So email me again, send me a phone call, reach out to me so that I can get in touch with you and figure out where that email went. And make sure you're emailing from your LMU email account, because that way it doesn't get bounced into a junk file or anything like that. You can come to my office. I'm going to be there 9 to 12, Monday to Wednesday, and I'm in online office hours from 1 to 2. And email me and I can set up a Zoom during that time and we can chat, or we can chat on Zoom during my regular office hours, whatever works best for you. Here's our course description. This is a class about reading and writing and research. And the objectives for this class are about thinking through writing and understanding how our audience is receiving and interpreting the things that we're writing. It's about making your voice heard and sending the message you want to send in a written form. And thinking about that for different kinds of writing. So we're writing essays, but I want you to think about this as, how would you be setting up that blog for the free clinic where you're going to be working, or to advertise the pet shelter and try to get more volunteers to come join you and help work with animals? How are you going to bring attention to your new business on your blog or your webpage? All of these are the kinds of things we'll be writing about this semester. The way that you engage with people sort of in an everyday way through writing. And all of this will be leading up to using research and thinking about more academic writing in English 102. So, how do we do this? What are some sort of steps for this? Strong thesis, improve your essay organization. That is, how is the flow of ideas moving from the top of your paper to the bottom? Your critical writing and reading and thinking skills, getting to stuff that is beyond the obvious. Understanding how things connect, how the implication of something might be impacting your audience. Supporting your arguments. How do you make the most effective point possible? Dealing with ethical and legal issues surrounding the uses of information, and constructive peer criticism. Now, those peer workshops are usually the part that most people dislike the most about writing, quite frankly. I certainly did when I was in class, but it's one of the most important things for recommendations that you're going to need in the future, because future employers are going to want to know, are you able to work on this group project to get this giant grant to fund this and help other people write their parts and make everything work together seamlessly? Because no one person puts that kind of thing together. It's this giant group project, and you need to be able to constructively criticize people and encourage them to improve their writing without causing too much friction in your group. So these are the sort of things you're going to be mastering in this class. The book for this class is Steps to Writing Well, and it has the MindTap account tied to it. So make sure you get the book with the MindTap, because MindTap is what we're going to be using for our quizzes. It's also one of the most accessible ways to get to the different essays and readings in Steps to Writing Well. So I found it the easiest to use, even easier than the paper book format, which I typically prefer. So these are the things that we're going to be engaging with and be using as our support for this class. Everything you need is in those two things. And how do we get the different grades for this class? Well, you're going to have quizzes and exams. A lot of those are going to come from MindTap. You're also going to have a midterm and a final. And then you're going to have 3 essays: a descriptive personal essay, a compare and contrast argument, and a causal analysis. And you're going to choose one of these, typically the causal analysis or the compare and contrast argument, and support it with further research and revise it intensely for your final essay. Because revision work is just as important as that original process of writing in sort of professionalized writing that you're going to be doing in the future. Finally, there's participation. This class doesn't work without you all. So if you participate in these discussion boards and you engage with each other and you allow yourself to make a sense of community, even though this is just a composition class you probably didn't want to take, it will make this class a lot more fun for everybody. So that is what we will be doing, and everything is due at the time it says on Canvas. Except if you need an exception for this because you have an illness, that's an excused LMU absence. Any excused LMU absence is completely counted, and at the time you have your doctor's note or whatever to come back, that's when your work will be due. But deal with me with that on a case-by-case basis. Here is the grade scale. It's the one that's entered into Canvas, and the method of instruction is papers, quizzes, discussions, and lectures that are recorded, of course. All of this is posted on Canvas. Here are the texts you need. Here is the breakdown of the way the lectures are going to be. You can see with the assignments, the materials that you need for each class. And I've color-coded it because, yes, I'm that kind of person, so that each different unit we're working on sort of lays out in a sort of 4-week schedule. You are going to have with your different assignments, examples that talk about the purpose, give you the tasks that you need to go through to create each one, and finally the criteria, that is a rubric that's going to be used to grade it. And we'll use those rubrics in our peer review workshops so you're familiar with the way your essay is going to be graded. Now, late work, I don't accept late work. Please get it in on time. If there is some reason that you need to talk with me about, come to me, tell me. Don't try to text me your paper from the hospital when you have appendicitis. That's an excused absence. You can wait until you come back and you're better. That's just fine. But without an excused absence, I don't accept late work. This is a class where we have peer reviews, so we're going to be sharing work. Media policy. We are using media. This is an online class, but we need to use it effectively, which leads to the plagiarism policy. So, plagiarism is using any idea or text that is not your own original thought or previously published work of your own. That is even plagiarism. You can only use that if, 1, you cite it, and 2, you get permission from the instructor. And this includes the use of AI-generated material such as Google Translate. So anything that's not cited, any tool that's not cited cannot be used. That is not your work. And to prevent and detect plagiarism, we're going to be using Turnitin and the other devices within Canvas that look for plagiarism. In this class, the first case of plagiarism results in a failing grade for the assignment, and then second, in a failure of the course. Now, about AI. AI is not approved for this class without prior permission from the professor. So, because this is about writing, and this is about your writing and your writing skills, this needs to be graded on what you are personally doing. If for some reason there becomes a point where you think an AI tool would be useful, you need to get permission from me first, and then you're going to need to cite that tool every time it's used and the way that it's used, and you're also going to have an original draft without any AI so that it can be run through and time-stamped to show that the ideas were your own in the first place. And then this is important. Because our technology is now detecting AI, in order to avoid any false positive AI detection, make sure you have time-stamped drafts of your writing. Here's how to do that in Word. Google also does this for you. It keeps these time-stamped, hey, here's what you are doing, so that if your paper, it shows, here's how you've worked on it. That's not proof that someone didn't plagiarize, but it is evidence that you can bring to an appeal, and I will consider it, the dean will consider it, if a case needs to be evaluated. So you are responsible to have time-stamped drafts of your work in case you need to appeal a false case of plagiarism. Here are the dates, and the other material that LMU puts in here. Important here is students with disabilities. If anyone needs accommodations, go through Dr. Dunn. I am happy to work with you and make those accommodations possible. Harassment and misconduct. It's very important to have this number to know who to call. And to remember that all LMU faculty are mandatory reporters. If you need help, you can come to us. We know how to report things and we know how to help you. So this is our syllabus. As things happen, if there are inclement weather and dates need to be changed because there's power outages and people can't get to things, this will be revised as needed, but you'll always be updated with an email and or an announcement to let you know if a change has been made. So I look forward to going on this journey with you, and have a wonderful week.